Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable.
Revolution.
First, what is a revolution?
Revolution is the solution, hey.
The motive of a revolution.
Well, now,
The objective of a revolution.
be televised.
And the result of a revolution. And the methods used in a revolution.
I know you know. Put my gun away. Never gonna put my gun away. Put my gun away. See them all, be better run away.
This generation of Americans has already had enough, more than enough, of war and hate and oppression.
Hello, Internet. How's everybody doing? It's been a while. It's been a couple of weeks. Haven't been streaming consistently because, well, I'll get into that later. But you know, sometimes I get very black-pilled with the whole streamer and influencer situation. There used to be so many people that I watched regularly that I had a certain amount of respect for. I thought he did a good and honest job, but it seems that all the things that we accuse the left of, you know, doubling down on Biden's fit as a fiddle and nothing he could do is wrong. They back up anything that the FBI did to, you know, anybody on the right. The defending the Biden administration in any possible way, that seems to be what I'm seeing on the right now. And it's super frustrating because for some dumb reason, I thought that wasn't going to happen. I thought there was going to be more objectivity than that. But it seems that no, everybody just picks a team. That team decides what the narrative is. And then if you're on that team, that's the narrative that you need to portray. And I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. And I'm not trying to be in the middle. I'm just trying to look at things objectively. I'm trying to be as honest about things as I possibly can. And I also think that there's this need to act like you always know what's going on. And I don't know, maybe it's imposter syndrome, but I feel like I never have any clue of what's going on. And I'm always just trying to figure it out with the rest of you guys. So that's kind of what my show is to do, is just to let's look at everything and let's try to figure out what's going on. No partisan politics, even though I obviously have my biases, but let's try to look at everything objectively, get to what the truth is as best we can tell, and then discuss it and see if what the conclusions I'm coming to are wrong, and you guys could tell me where they're wrong, and I'll say if you're right or if I think you're retarded. You know, we'll have that conversation. But that doesn't seem like what's happening anymore. I mean, this fracturing on the right all seems to stem from exactly what I'm talking about right now. I mean, there's a very specific issue that has really divided the right, but you see like this neo-conny type pro-war, anti-free speech when it comes to anti-Semitism laws, which is just the right's version of hate speech laws. It's this, and what's funny is the term the woke right comes to mind, but that's a derogatory term used for anybody on the right that criticizes Israel. But the woke right is really the people that are using the exact same tactics that the left use, but just using them for their causes. And I'm tired of all of it. I'm just fucking tired of all of it. And it's made me not want to do live streams. That's more my fault. I've also just got, you know, I'm insanely busy at work. I started trying to ramp up the running mileage again. So that's like a big part of my life is just running. And I'll also say, since I don't want politics to be the biggest part of my life. I wish I didn't have to pay attention to politics. I really wish I could just be into sports ball and not pay attention to politics because everything is going fine. But as insane as things have gotten over the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, I feel like I have to be involved and know what's going on in order to see where I stand. But point is, I like trail running. I like dogs. I like nature, the Santa Cruz Mountains. I like sunsets. I like going and shooting. I like old cars. Those are the things that I like. That's what I want to spend my time doing. And when you're a trail runner that likes nature, going out to state parks, you tend to make friends that like those same things, usually not highly politically involved. Where I live, everybody's a leftist by default. They're not highly political, but they just have this default leftist mentality where, again, they're probably not highly political, but they have this like default Democrat view where they don't even necessarily know what that means. So I have plenty of friends, some of which have sort of distanced themselves from me ever since COVID and me running for office. But I don't want politics to be the thing that determines if I could be your friend or not. It's okay to disagree with people and still be homies and still think that like this is a good person. They're into cool shit like me, and we don't need to talk politics. Anyway, that's sort of my opening rant, and we're gonna talk about the Minnesota thing because this is dividing the hell out of people right now. All right, let's check the chat. Wally World, good to see you. Who we got here? The Texan Patriot, good to see you over on YouTube. Wally World, I know it's been a while. I'm sorry, man. Thank you. Valley Girl, always good to see you. You disappeared for a while. Glad everything's cool. Michael the Libertarian, good morning. This is the morning where you're at. The chaos is draining. Yes, it is. Texan Patriot. Ras Tradmus, they're all bad actors, fake and gay. I am with you, dude. I am with you on that one. Danger, what's up, bro? You're probably going to disagree on some of my stances here, Danger, but I don't know. Maybe you won't. But that's the thing. Me and Danger, we're buddies in real life. It doesn't matter how much we disagree. We're still homies. Like, it doesn't freaking matter. Michael Libertarian, I want to just play my damn guitar. I don't want to talk about politics to define me. That's what I'm talking about. I don't want, like, I would rather talk about dumb shit, to be quite honest. I'd rather show you guys pictures of my dog. I mean, look at her. Look how cute she is. Look at her over there. Oh, I broke my microphone. See, and that's why I'm not a professional podcaster anyway. But look at my dog. Just look how cute she is over there. Can you guys see her? Cutest thing on earth. She hurt her leg. All right, let's get right into it, folks. So this whole Minnesota shooting has it really seems to be dividing the right, which the right isn't just like, like back in the day when you had Democrats and Republicans, especially like MAGA, the MAGA faction of the right. They like to call it the big tent. Now, I don't know if many of you guys are aware, but Trump spoke at the National Libertarian Convention, and he did that because he saw that the Libertarian Party, or not even the Libertarian Party, the Libertarian voting base is a large voting base, and he needed their support to get him over the hump. And I think the Libertarian voting base played a great role in getting Trump over the hump. Now, he did get Ross Ulbricht, I don't know, I never know how to say his name, but he did live up to that promise. He did secure the border, even though there's a whole border debate amongst libertarians. We'll leave that aside. There are some things that he did that pleased the libertarian voting base. But I promise you, there's no libertarian out there that was like, I can't wait till Trump gets in office so he can go to Venezuela and take Maduro out of power. I can't wait until Trump gets into office so we can buy Greenland. Those weren't high up on our action item list. I promise you that. And a lot of libertarian leaning people or, Thomas Massey types that aren't happy with the amount of influence that like Israel has over the party. They are very pro free speech, very pro 2A, like actually pro 2A, even when it's like leftists that have guns, pro 2A, like all the time. Like, did you guys see the video a couple days ago? Somebody in Minnesota had an AR, very expensive AR. It was like a $2,000 AR. It was a nice one. Standing out on somebody's lawn. He was saying, yeah, I'm here to basically protect my neighbors and from ICE. He didn't say I'm here to protect my neighbors from ICE. But he was just standing there. Now, yeah, it'd be one thing if ICE rolled up and he freaking got like low ready or high ready on him. He's going to get lit up. But it is not against the law, or it shouldn't be, to be standing on your neighbor's lawn with an AR, just standing there. It shouldn't be. And then I'm seeing a lot of people on the right. They're like, this guy needs to be arrested. This guy needs to be investigated. Like, what? Like, what happened? What are you really pro 2A? And then I'm seeing a lot of people right now talking about how Alex Purdy, I think it's Alex Purdy, how he didn't have his ID on him. Alex Purdy didn't have his ID on him. He had a concealed carry, but he didn't have his ID on him. I don't give a shit. Like, we shouldn't need a concealed carry permit in the first place. We should be able to just walk outside with a concealed firearm and that not be against the law. That's what being a pro 2A absolutist means, is all gun laws are unconstitutional. And I'm seeing a lot of people that used to pretend that that's what their stance was. All of a sudden they are like, oh no, he didn't have his ID on him. It was a justified shoot because he didn't have his freaking ID on him, that kind of shit. I know that's not what you said earlier, Danger, but I'm talking about other people that I'm seeing on the internet talking about that. So yeah, anyway, I got a ton of shit to get into. This is going to be a one topic show. It's going to go however long it goes, probably be like an hour, 90 minutes, something like that. Pretti. I know it's spelled. I mean, I put it in the thumbnail of this episode, but I don't know how it's pronounced. Can you like spell it out really slowly for me so I can get it? Let's see. Oh, Michael Libertarian GM is not. Yeah, it's just your default greeting. Okay, that's fair. The Texan Patriot, don't shock her. I won't. That shit pissed me off. He's talking about Hassan Piker when Hassan Piker has his dog in the background and he gets pissed if his dog gets out of the dog bed and he put a shot collar on the dog. Yeah, that was annoying. It's pronounced Pretti. Well, see, I'm retarded, bro. Pretty. Is that Pretti? Pretti? It's Pretti, right? Because it's spelled Pretti. Okay. All right. I'll just call him Pretti. Michael Purdy. Could I call him Michael Purdy? All right. I shouldn't make fun of him. He's dead. Okay, let's get right into it. I'm not going to start with the footage because we're going to break down every angle of the footage. We're going to look at we're going to look at slow-mo. We're going to look at all the different camera angles. We're going to look at what people are saying, and we're just going to go from there. But I'm going to start off with what the government narrative is, which, I mean, shouldn't be shocking in some regards. You expect the government to back ICE, to say, you expect them to back ICE, but I would also expect them to say something like, we're waiting for further information. I'm sure it was a good shoot, like something along those lines, but we're gonna wait till further information comes in before we have comment. That's not what they did. That's not what they did at all. They came out and made some very serious statements regarding what happened during the shooting, presenting them as fact, and that does not appear to be correct. Does not appear that they are telling the truth when stating what happened in Minneapolis yesterday regarding the shooting of Alex Pretti. All right, so let's go over to Kristi Noem. We'll start with her. Kristi Noem, let's see what she had to say. All right, this is from Rapid Response 24. So, just like Gavin Newsom has his rapid response people, this is Trump's rapid response people. Let's listen to Kristi Noem.
I do want to address the tragic situation that we saw in Minneapolis today that unfolded on the streets. It occurred with DHS law enforcement as they carried out their lawful duties to keep Americans safe in the threat of criminal illegal aliens in this country. At 9:05 a.m. Central Time, the Department of Homeland Security law enforcement officials and officers were conducting targeted operations in Minneapolis against an illegal alien whose criminal history included domestic assault with intentionally inflicting bodily harm, disorderly conduct, and driving without a valid license. An individual approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun.
Okay, did you hear that? Here, let's listen to that last part again, what she said that Alex Purdy did.
Semi-automatic handgun. The officers attempted to disarm this individual with a 9mm without a valid license. An individual approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. The officers attempted to disarm this individual, but the armed suspect reacted violently.
Okay. So she's saying that he walked up to the ICE agent, the way she's phrasing it, he approached him with a 9mm handgun. Okay, when anybody hears that, they're thinking that he had it drawn and he approached them with the gun in his hand. When he I don't even think he approached the ICE officers personally. Looks from the video like they approached him, but they didn't know he had a firearm when that confrontation first started. And she's making it seem that he like came at him with a firearm. Why would she say that when we all can see the footage and there's multiple angles? This is very early on before all the different angles were released, but still, are you seriously going to come out and present it that way, that he came up to the ICE agents with his gun drawn? Because that sounds like what you said just happened.
Fearing for his life and for the lives of his fellow officers around him, an agent fired defensive shots. Medics were on the scene immediately and attempted to deliver medical aid to the subject, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. The suspect also had 2 magazines with ammunition in them that held dozens of rounds. He also had no ID. This looks like a situation where an individual arrived at this scene to inflict maximum damage on individuals and to kill law enforcement. Insane. Like, how are you drawing these conclusions? And what's funny is Libby Emmons, who's like, she's always on Timcast. She writes for she might be like the creator of the Post Millennial. She came out and said this exact same stuff. Like, breaking news, he came there to inflict maximum damage. And even Tim Pool was like, what, Libby? Like, shut the fuck up. Like, really? Like, even Tim Pool, where I'm not even sure what stance he's taking on this. I haven't watched him, but Michael Libertarian, I just realized, is that you, Impure Hunter? Good to see you if you're there. So, all right, let's keep. Yeah, Libby is awful. Freaking Libby, and what's his name? Eliyahu, whatever his name is. Like, I can't stand that freaking dork. All right, let's continue. Kristi Noem saying that he was a terrorist and came there to inflict maximum damage, and he had magazines to hold dozens of rounds. About hundreds of protesters then showed up at the scene. They began to obstruct and to assault law enforcement officers. We saw objects being thrown at them, including ice and other objects, and a rampant assault began, and even an HSI officer agent's finger was bitten off. Crowd control measures were deployed to bring safety to the public and to law enforcement at the scene. And once again, I want to remind everybody that this situation and this tragedy did not have to happen. I do want to. Am I weird for wanting to see the footage of the finger being bitten off? That'd be a sight to see. I mean, I'm not glad anybody got their finger bitten off. That's awful. And I think you're a psycho if you're biting off somebody's finger. You still want to see the video. That's all. Impure Hunter, Michael Libertarian. Yeah, I recognize you with the Ron Paul photo, bro. I wish I could meet Ron Paul. That'd be awesome. All right, let's keep going. Let's go over to what's this guy's name? Fuck, I forgot his name. I had it earlier. This dude from the DHS. A lot of people are calling for his resignation because he said a lot of the same stuff that Kristi Noem just said. It was his wife's finger too. I don't get it. The Texas Patriot. Actually, let me check over on Rumble really quick. Northside, good to see you, bro. I know. I'm sorry, bro. I'm glad you got the notification. All right, let's keep going. Let's listen to what this dude has to say. What's this guy's name? I forget what his name is.
I'm Gregory Bovino.
Gregory Bovino. Thank you for clarifying that.
And I have the privilege and honor of leading United States Border Patrol and Customs and Border Protection here in Minneapolis. Some of those brave men and women of Border Patrol and Department of Homeland Security law enforcement join me here today to show support for all federal law enforcement who have been under constant attack in Minneapolis for weeks now. This morning was no different. At 9:05 a.m. Central Standard Time, as DHS law enforcement officers were conducting a targeted operation in Minneapolis against an illegal alien, Jose Huerta Chuma. You can see this illegal alien on the screen to my left and right. That is Jose Huerta Chuma, whose criminal history includes domestic assault.
So he's going to say the exact same thing that Kristi Noem just said. So they got their prepared statements. I was going to say something about the things they're accusing him of, but I'll let it go.
to intentionally inflict bodily harm, disorderly conduct, and driving without a valid license.
Disorderly conduct. Oh, man.
During this operation, an individual approached U.S. Border Patrol agents with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. The agents attempted to disarm the individual, but he violently resisted.
So he's saying the exact same thing that Kristi Noem said. So they were clearly given their talking points to go up there and repeat.
Fearing for his life and the lives and safety of fellow officers, a Border Patrol agent fired defensive shots.
Defensive shots.
Medics on the scene immediately delivered medical aid to the subject, but the subject was pronounced dead at the scene. The suspect also had 2 loaded magazines and no accessible ID. This looks like a situation where an individual wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement.
So literally verbatim, they're saying the exact same thing. You guys remember during COVID when you'd go to like multiple different news stations and they would all say the same thing, like word for word about how things are safe and effective, or this is a threat to society, you know, when any, this is it right here. Talking points. This is Operation Mockingbird. It's just, they're actually doing it through official channels this time. Isn't it frustrating to you guys when you hear people saying word for word the exact same thing? It's like, do you guys have any clear, articulable ideas of your own, or are you just going to toe the party line here? Yeah, Valley Girl, a threat to democracy. It sounds exactly like what we were seeing during COVID, but continue.
Then, about 200 rioters arrived at the scene and began to obstruct and assault law enforcement. Crowd control measures have been deployed for the safety of the public and law enforcement. This situation is evolving and more information is forthcoming. The officer was highly trained and had been serving as a Border Patrol agent for 8 years. The officer has extensive training as a range safety officer and less lethal officer. As mentioned, this is only the latest attack on law enforcement. Across the country, the men and women of DHS have been attacked, shot at, doxxed, had their family members threatened. And as we have seen, more than 100 vehicle rammings over the past year against federal law enforcement.
So because of all these things that have happened in the past, we shot a man that we had just disarmed. Is that what you're saying there?
We will not allow violence against our law enforcement officers, and we need state and local help, state and local law enforcement, to help us coordinate to get violent criminals off the streets. Mayor Fry and Chief O'Hare just a few minutes ago did the opposite of that by omitting the fact that the suspect had a gun and magazines full of ammunition. In what looks like a situation, again, where an individual wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement. I want to reiterate what President Donald Trump, Secretary Kristi Noem, myself, Director Marcos Charles, and so many others have said time and again. If you obstruct a law enforcement officer or assault a law enforcement officer, you are in violation of the law and will be arrested. Our law enforcement officers take an oath to protect the public. We go to work every day to protect our friends, our neighbors, and our fellow citizens. The fact of the matter is that the law does not enforce itself. It takes men and women who are willing to risk their lives to enforce it. The men and women of CBP and ICE, law enforcement, are highly trained professionals who love this country and do this work because they want to leave their kids and their grandkids a country that's safe and secure.
All right. Okay. So, Danger, you said this is all on Democrats. I'm not going to disagree that Democrats are, I'm not even going to call them Democrats, but these radical leftists, as Trump likes to say, these people that are coming out in force and acting a fool, yeah, they obviously, we'll get into some of the other stuff that they're doing right now, like creating a list of people and doing the signal chat thing, trying to track people down and threatening people. Yeah, it's all retarded. But this isn't all on Democrats, and I'll tell you why I don't think this is all on Democrats. All of this is supposed to be about getting illegal immigrants out of the country, right? Will we agree on that? That the ultimate purpose of everything that we're seeing right now should be to get as many illegal immigrants out of the country as possible. If that's the objective, is this really the best use of resources? And if it is, why are our deportation numbers still lower than Obama's, who never deployed ICE or the National Guard in this type of way? Why are the numbers still so low? I don't think this is the best use of our resources in terms of getting illegal immigrants out of the country. To me, somebody that self-deports it has the same impact as somebody that's deported by ICE. I want to see the maximum amount of illegal immigrants removed from the country as possible. And if that's the objective, why aren't we pooling all of our resources to go after the sanctuary states that are creating a social safety net that are incentivizing illegal immigrants to come here? Why aren't we going after the states, especially the border states that are sanctuary states like California, that provide a driver's license to illegal immigrants, free healthcare to illegal immigrants, make it okay to employ anyone that's an illegal immigrant in virtually any job? Why aren't we allocating all of our resources to go after them, to remove that social safety net and make it so illegal immigrants they see their best option is leaving and going back to somewhere that's going to be better for them? Remove the social safety net, get rid of sanctuary state policies, go after the states that are incentivizing illegal immigrants to come here. That's going, and I've been saying this since before Trump even got into office, that I never liked the idea of brown shirts asking people for their papers. I've never liked this idea. I don't like checkpoints that are 100 miles in from the border. I don't like that either. Talked about that earlier with my buddy Adrian. And I just think this is a serious misallocation of resources, and it almost seems like deportation numbers aren't even the factor here. It's not even their objective. It seems, with how over the top they're going with all of this stuff, it's just meant to actually grow that divide and fuel that left-right fighting and creating chaos. That's what it seems the whole objective is of this. It doesn't actually seem like it's about deportations. It's about creating chaos. If you're asking me, that's just what I'm getting from it. Granted, I absolutely could be wrong, but I think it'd be a much better approach to use the power of the federal government, even though I hate being a statist like that, but the federal government going after the states that, in my opinion, are doing things that are completely unconstitutional. You can't be giving United States taxpayer dollars to people that came here illegally. Can't be providing them driver's licenses. Like, if they're here illegally, how can they have a legal United States document? It's insane to me. They can get driver's insurance, like all of these policies that they passed that allow illegal immigrants to come here and thrive. And I should say that I have sympathy for illegal immigrants. Like, I understand if you came here because it's a better situation. I'm not saying I would even do any different if I were in their shoes. I would probably come here too if I got free healthcare. I know I could get a job and I wasn't going to get deported. It's just a better situation over there. I'd probably do the same thing. The thing is, it is at the detriment of Americans, especially here in California. And like, don't even get me started on the H-1Bs. So I don't think deploying ICE agents to city streets is the most practical way to get our deportation numbers up, if that's the objective. To me, it seems like the objective is creating chaos. That's just what I'm seeing anyway. All right, let's go to Kristi Noem again. Let's see. Yeah. Michael, I know you and I are pretty on point, even though we I think we disagree about the borders thing, but that's okay. Maybe we don't. Maybe we're probably more aligned on it than I think we are. All right, let's go. Let's here's more freaking commie gobbledygook. And I say commie, I'm using it as like authoritarian gobbledygook from Kristi Noem. All right, let's and this is from freaking Gunther Engelman, who is like another catturd, just over the top bootlicker. Gunther Engelman says Kristi Noem just hammered another nail in. It's also breaking the law to conceal carry in Minnesota without an ID on you. She's right. Shut the fuck up. You shouldn't even need a concealed carry permit at all. You should just be able to carry. Like that's you didn't have his ID on him, deserved to get shot in the back. Like, fuck you, Gunther. God, you're such a bootlicking piece of shit. All right, so let's listen to Kristi Noem here.
You know, my message to individuals is don't go impede law enforcement operations. That's not legal. You're breaking the law when you do that. It's also breaking the law to conceal carry in Minnesota without an ID on you. And you shouldn't be laying hands. You know, my message to individuals is don't go impede law enforcement operations. That's not legal. You're breaking the law when you do that. It's also breaking the law to conceal carry in Minnesota with. Okay, was he impeding law enforcement? Now, I think that's most people will probably say that he was. From what I've seen, and I mean, I got a lot of different clips pulled up to watch the actual footage, but from what I've seen, all he was doing, like he was standing in the middle of the street recording, but I didn't see him like actively going up and blocking cars or, you know, blocking ICE agents from entering any doors or anything like that. He was just recording from what I'm seeing. And I know I'm going to get called a leftist on all of this stuff because the dude that got shot was, I mean, we don't even really know what his politics are. He might even be like a libertarian that's just against ICE, for all I know. I mean, yeah, we don't actually know what his politics are. I mean, I was listening to Glenn Greenwald talk about this earlier, and he was a nurse, an ICU nurse, an intensive care unit nurse. So I think that's a nurse practitioner. And I mean, ICU nurses have to like, they're dealing with people that are on their deathbed, essentially. And one of the last things that this dude did, Alex Purdy, whatever his name is, he had a former veteran that was on his deathbed, and he read a statement for him, you know, and it's like, I don't know how radical this guy was. Okay, let's go over to Scott Bessent. So here's Gunther Engelman again, and he says, breaking, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent just torched ABC's John Karl over the Minneapolis shooting. Karl, there's no evidence he brandished the gun. Bessent, but he brought a gun. Have you ever been to a protest? Have you ever gone to a protest, John? Have you? I have. Guess what? I didn't bring a gun. I brought a billboard. Bringing a loaded firearm plus 2 magazines to an ICE raid isn't peaceful protesting. It's premeditated. Bessent nailed the absurdity. Are you shitting me? He didn't pull out the gun and start waving it around saying, look at my gun, look at my 2 extra magazines. It was concealed all the way up until the moment that he hit the ground. He never drew the firearm, which we'll get into later. And in my opinion, like, I don't have a concealed carry permit. I think you should carry everywhere. I'm not saying I do, but I think you should carry everywhere. I think everybody should carry everywhere. A well-armed society is a peaceful society. But just because you're going to a place where, like, okay, you're a leftist and you're going to a massive protest that, oh my God, my dog's snoring so loud, that might have counter protesters. So people that might get violent with you. Like, to me, it's like, why would you not be carrying a firearm if you're going into that type of environment? Not because you want to use the firearm, but in case somebody tries to use a firearm on you. That's my personal opinion. Let's listen to what Scott Bessent says here.
For the Veterans Administration, and there's no evidence that he brandished the gun whatsoever. In fact, it appears that he was disarmed before
he brought a gun. Have you ever gone to a protest, Jonathan?
I mean, we do have a Second Amendment in this country that.
Jonathan, have you ever gone to a protest?
I mean,
have you gone to a protest?
I mean, no, actually, as a reporter covering it.
Okay, I've been to a protest. Yeah. Guess what? I didn't bring a gun. I brought a billboard.
Okay.
That's cute, Scott. It's so funny how ABC is now saying we have the Second Amendment. It's like everything's flipping backwards now. And this is what happens. Like whatever party is in power, they start toting the party lines that used to not be the party lines, if that makes sense. Now leftists are all about the Second Amendment, which is ironic and funny to me, but let's keep going here. Let's listen to Kash Patel. Freaking Kash Patel, like saying blatantly false shit right here. This is from Clint Russell. He says, you cannot bring a firearm loaded with multiple magazines to any sort of protest that you want. It's that simple. Clint says, yes, the fuck you can, every founding father. Like, yes. Like, and again, this like doesn't matter what the laws are. Everybody should be able to walk around with a tool to protect themselves, not to, you know, go and just shoot random people, but to carry a firearm in case someone tries to shoot you. Let's listen to Kash Patel.
I mean, thousands of people are marching through Minneapolis. They are targeting the Border Patrol. I mean, it feels like the rhetoric and the protesting is only ramping up. What is your advice to the people right now who are outraged that this is a second killing at the hands of Border Patrol in 2 weeks?
As Kristi said, you cannot bring a firearm loaded with multiple magazines to any sort of protest that you want. It's that simple. You don't.
And even by law, it seems like the only thing he did that was illegal was not have his ID on him. So Kash, no, you can. He had a concealed carry permit. He was allowed to be carrying that firearm by law. What are you talking about?
Don't have that right to break the law and incite violence. We will, of course, always protect.
Incite violence by having a weapon covered by your clothing that nobody knows you have. Inciting violence.
Your First Amendment speech. And if you peacefully protest, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But you have seen a trend here, not just in Minnesota, but across the country in these protests turning into violent scenarios and people attacking law enforcement. That's when you go over the line, and that's when law enforcement steps in.
And he's saying that he attacked law enforcement. That's not what I'm getting either. Okay, and then you've got people being equally stupid on the left. You've got this guy, Matt McDermott, who is a Democrat strategist. So this is insane to me. So he says, as insane as this sounds, it's true. Pam Bondi sent Minnesota officials a letter today saying ICE would leave the state of Minnesota if Minnesota turns over its voter files to the Trump administration. They're openly using state violence as a bargaining chip to seize the election infrastructure. Okay. Everybody just heard what he said and was like, that's unbelievable. I can't believe Kristi Noem would use that as a bargaining chip. Did anybody read this letter? Okay, I'm going to read it now. Second, repeal the sanctuary policies that have led to so much crime and violence in your state. Good. That's what I'm actually advocating for. Removing illegal aliens from Minnesota neighborhoods will save lives, and the state local officials should support this goal. All detention facilities in your state should cooperate fully with ICE. I'm going to make this bigger, sorry. Should cooperate. All detention facilities should cooperate fully with ICE, honor immigration detainers, and permit ICE to interview detainees in custody to determine immigration status. I agree with all that stuff. I urge you to reach an agreement with ICE that allows them to remove illegal aliens in custody of Minnesota's prisons and jails and avoids punishing these interactions, pushing these interactions into your streets. I agree with that too. Great idea. Third, allow the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice to access voter rolls to confirm that Minnesota's voter registration policy practices comply with federal law as authorized by the Civil Rights Act of 1960. Fulfilling this common sense request will better guarantee free and fair elections and boost confidence in the rule of law. Okay? So she's not making demands. She's saying you should do all these things. And I'm not a fan of Pam Bondi. I am confident that these simple steps will help bring back law and order to Minnesota and improve the lives of Americans. Okay? The time has come for state and local officials in your state to change course. As the chief law enforcement officer of the United States, I am committed to enforcing federal immigration laws and keeping every American safe. Minnesota can and should be a partner with this administration. Do not obstruct federal immigration enforcement. Do not allow rioters to take over the streets and houses of worship. do not hinder federal officials from investigating financial fraud and violation of election laws. Whether state and local politicians stand in the way or not, we will work every day to protect Americans and make Minnesota safe again. I request that you join us in that effort. Okay, at what point did she say that if you do these things, we will remove ICE from your city? She didn't say that. This is what he said about the letter that I just read to you guys. As insane as this sounds, it's true. Pam Bondi sent Minnesota officials a letter today saying ICE would leave the state of Minnesota if Minnesota turns over its voter files to the Trump administration. I just read you the letter. This is his post. He attached the letter. And people just read what he said and they're like, look what they're doing. They're using it as a bargaining chip, and nobody even reads the freaking letter. It's insane to me how, I don't know if it's laziness or being dumb. It's frustrating because it's like the left and the right just aren't being honest about shit. Okay, let's continue here. Metaphorically, okay, I can't read that one, Michael the Libertarian. Texan Patriot, good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, so let's start watching the footage now. Let's just start watching the footage. And I kind of put this in order of how I want to lay this out. So this first clip it's like before the altercation started. And you can see he's standing in front of ICE officers, in front of one ICE officer with another ICE officer to his left. And I think this is the female that he was with standing behind him. He's standing there with his arms out. They're about 3 feet apart. They are in the middle of the street. So this is like the first footage we have of this entire scenario that unfolded. So let's just watch this as he's driving by. Okay, so he's got his camera, he's got his phone in his right hand. Phone in the right hand. Remember that. Right hand, phone. Okay? Recording the ICE officer. Another ICE officer calmly approaches. They're just standing there. He's not being super confrontational. He's just recording them. We don't know what they're saying until the body cam's released.
Yeah, unroll your windows.
Okay, so freeze frame. So now you see the ICE officer pushing him backwards, still has his phone in his right hand. So he's just pushing him backwards towards the curb, and that's pretty much the last we see of this clip. Okay, so as the ICE officer is pushing him back, he does stop and plant his feet and be like, "You're not pushing me back anymore." So that's what we see from that clip. That's the most confrontational we've seen him get yet. ICE officer starts pushing him backwards. Before he initiated any sort of conflict, ICE officer starts pushing him out of the road towards the curb. Once he gets close to the curb, where that's the sidewalk that's covered in snow, he stops and plants his feet right here. So you can see that. He stops and plants his feet, and he's in his face, still phone in his right hand.
Let's go around.
Okay, then he gets up on the sidewalk. Okay, that's the last we got from that clip. Let's go to the next one. So this picks up probably like 1 or 2 seconds after that. And this is in slow motion. So let's go to this clip here. Danger, there is a big part of that is also not being told. The reason this guy was at the specific spot was because he was creating barricades to obstruct officers. I still don't think he should die. If you got that clip, I'd love it if you sent it to me. I haven't seen that clip, and if I'm missing context, I definitely want to have that context. There was already a conflict before the video. Okay, if you have that too, I'd love it if you sent it to me. Be best if you DM'd it to me on Twitter. That'd be the easiest way for me to pull it up on screen here. All right, so let's watch this slow motion clip. This is the next one after driving by. Oh, this is going out on YouTube too, isn't it? Duly noted. I'll relax a bit. My apologies. Your comments aren't going to be seen on YouTube though, Michael the Libertarian. So feel free to say whatever you want. I just can't. I just can't read them. So no, say whatever you want. You're on X. YouTube won't be able to see this. Let me check Rumble really quick. North side.
Just think, Coach, you're running alone in the woods and a rabid, foaming at the mouth lesbian attacks you, yelling anti-ICE slogans. What the fuck? The officers were probably wrong in both cases for the deadly force, but a harrowing experience nonetheless. I'm not sure what you mean by that one, Brown. I'm not sure if I agree. But let's keep going here. Okay, so this is the next clip. All right, slow motion. He's taken to the ground. This, I think, was the very first footage that we saw. This is just reduced to half speed. So this is already, you're already missing the first part of this altercation. You see this lady in the pink recording back. We'll see her footage next. So it's hard to tell from this footage, but the guy in the gray jacket here, you guys see that's this ICE officer. So he's the one that disarmed him. And see if you can see the pistol that he pulls from him, which from my understanding was a SIG P320, which is the notorious gun that goes off by itself. Let's see if we can see him disarm him in this clip. So he's reaching for it, and he's got it right there. So you see the ICE officer has his pistol. He just disarmed the guy in the gray jacket right here. It's in his right hand. And you hear the first shot right there. So let me go back a split second. So right here's about where you hear the shot. So there's a lot of people speculating that this was a negligent, that the first shot that was fired was a negligent discharge. And it was either, and that's not proven yet. I'm not for sure that's what happened. I think we will find out if that's what happened. But a lot of people are speculating that the first shot fired was after Alex was disarmed. The ICE officer took his firearm away, and that firearm is what fired, whether it was the ICE agent accidentally pulled the trigger or if it went off by itself because shaky SIG P320 go bang. Like, we're not sure if that's what happened or not. So let's go back a little bit. So this is before he pulled it from him, or I think he just pulled it from him. It's in his right hand, and you'll hear the first shot right there. So, I mean, the timing's perfect with it. It's aimed at the ground. He's pulling it away. So I'm not sure. All right, so that's the first footage we got. I don't know if they're gonna. So the only reason I'm showing this on YouTube is because I've seen a lot of people, other people, show this exact same footage. So I'm hoping this episode stays up because I've seen a lot of other people show this exact same footage. Hopefully it's cool. Okay, so this is what's freaking annoying here. So this guy here says, what we're all thinking is his YouTube or his Twitter handle. Says, if this lady's footage showed them shooting an unarmed man, it would already be on a loop on CNN and MSN right now. What's funny is this footage does show the ICE agent disarming him and pulling the pistol away. You can see it in his hand. It's just hard to see, especially in the fog of war scenario. Like when this is the first footage that got released, and everybody just immediately started jumping to conclusions, including myself. Just like Renee Good's wife's video, it will never see the light of day because it shows him pulling the gun. So he's saying that this is very early on. This guy's saying, oh, he pulled a gun on ICE officers. So this did not age well, what this guy said here. All right, let's go to the next clip. So remember what this guy was just saying? So this chick right here in the pink, he was saying, well, if we get her, we're never going to see her footage if it shows that he didn't draw his weapon and he was unarmed. Well, let's go to her footage. This is her footage. This is the other angle. So let's watch this one. This is the lady in the pink's angle now. All right. So, all right, let's just keep going. So you see the dude, Alex, walk up and he's actually waving that car forward, like telling him to pass. I mean, is he actually trying to help traffic right there? I don't know, but that's what you see. You see him waving him a car to like, go ahead and go pass.
Go.
Okay, I'm sorry, you guys. This looks like he's helping to direct traffic here, like doing the opposite of impeding traffic.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Okay, so right there, so this is Alex right here. Okay, so you see the ICE officer push the woman that he's with. And when the ICE officer pushes her, he rushes over to try and help her up. He gets pepper sprayed. After he gets pepper sprayed, he tries to help her up. So you know what? Did I see something here? I've been like, okay, all right. So this is a little troubling right here. So he had his camera in his right hand, but I don't know if you got, it might be hard to see right here, but you can actually see because the car is a white background. It almost looks like he had his pistol, from what I can see, he had it on his hip. He had his pistol on his hip with his like jacket hanging over it, not an appendix carry. And the pistol wasn't inside of his pants. It was outside, like the holster was on the outside of his pants. And it kind of does look like he's reaching for his pistol right there, but I'm not sure. Gets pepper sprayed. See, it's weird. He's like, that chick was with him and it almost looks like he's attacking her, but I don't know. Maybe he was pepper sprayed and was trying to help her up. And I don't know. It almost looks like he's attacking her there, but I don't think he was.
The fuck, people! The fuck is wrong with you? Honestly!
All right, so that was the second footage that we saw. Yeah, I don't know what. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. So, Ross Tradamus helping her up. I don't know what he was trying to do with her. Was that person even with him? Like, what was going on there? It almost looks like the chick he was with was scuffling with this other person. Is this other person an ICE agent? Is this just, I don't know what's going on there. Let's watch the leading up to this again. So let's not look at Alex. Let's look at the two other people on his left.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
So right here. Okay, actually, so he had his arm. He had his arm around this person, like he is helping this person here. Then this person's like recording him. Is this like a counter protester person? Then ICE agent pushes this person to the ground. I can't tell if that person is with Alex or if that's person, because that person was recording Alex. Pushes her to the ground, gets pepper sprayed, and then he grabs the person that got pushed to the ground from the back. The other person that he's with, that he had his arm around, is also grabbing that person. Like, I think he's trying to help that person, but it's not helping. But yeah, he was like super aggressive with her and like yanks on her sweater. So I don't know what the hell. That's hard to figure out what's going on with that person. Are they together or are they not?
The fuck, people!
Okay, now he's to the ground.
Honestly.
And right here's where he gets disarmed. Right here. So this ICE agent with the sunglasses on his head and the gray, he's the one disarming him that we saw from the other angle. He's reaching for his pistol right here. Removes the pistol. First shot's fired again. So it looks like the first shot fired was right when he disarmed him. Is that the weapon that went off? Is the question. ICE pushed the lady and Alex went to pick her up. I know, but just like you saw the way he picked her up, it was super aggressive and he was like dragging her by her sweater. I don't know. All right, so we've already seen that footage. Now let's look at another angle. This is a much clearer video. So that actually looks like a magazine on the ground right there. Like they pulled one of his mags and threw it to the ground. So this is the guy in the gray sweater trying to disarm him. Disarms him, pistol in the right hand right there. And you'll see the first shot fired is like right after I hit play right now. You're going to hear the first shot fired. But you don't see a muzzle flash, but there are people that have, it's hard to tell, but they've done like freeze frames. And this shot here looks like the pistol is in battery, like round chambered, is ready to fire. And then after, you hear the round go off, and it looks like you can see the slide go back in freeze frames that I've saw after that. Does that mean they dropped the mag out of the gun and the slide stayed back because it was empty now? I don't know. But let's watch that again. You'll hear the first shot go off as soon as he disarms him, and the weapon that he took off of him is pointed at the ground as he's walking away. Disarmed. First shot. And then they light him up. Wow, that really looks like that was the first shot. That really looks like that was the first shot, but I mean, it's not definitive at this point. Do you guys think that was the first shot? It was the firearm that they removed from him, the P320. Like, it's hard to tell from that footage. So this is from this other guy. And a bunch of people are talking shit about him because he's a Canadian, or no, I'm sorry, he's from Britain, but this does say that he's a veteran. But he says, I slowed this down. In the huddle, one or more ICE officers shout gun. This caused another ICE officer to draw his sidearm. Another officer removed the man's sidearm and then walked away, but it was discharged negligently. See for yourself. The SIG P320 is notorious for NDing, but typically only when dropped. There's videos showed that like you even rattle that slide around sometimes. Anyway, that then triggered the other agents to think that the man on the ground, Alex Pretti, it's Pretti, sorry, I've been saying like Purdy the whole time, had been shooting, so they neutralized the perceived threat. So this does seem like what happened, but let's watch this clip now. That sure does look like what happened. Boom, right there. Yeah, and it does seem like you can see the muzzle flash. So right. Yeah, right there. If that's what happened, oh man, SIG is going to have a very bad PR nightmare. Okay, so one more clip. This is this guy named Evan Hill says highest resolution footage so far slowed down. So let's watch this clip now. All right, he's reaching for his sidearm right now. He sees it. He's going for it. What was that fell on the ground though? It looked like they dropped a magazine. Okay, so he yanks it right there. Other agents shoot him. Yeah, this is going to be, if it's proven that was the first shot from the P320 that he took off of him, SIG is going to have a PR nightmare. And I love my SIG P365. My buddy Roscoe has a P320 and he loves it. He swears by it, but I don't know. He'll like defend it to the death too. I don't get it. All right, so we see that clip, and then, oh no, all right, so now let's go to a bunch of like the cat turd types. So this is Bud Patterson, and he says, he clearly pulled his weapon, and he's showing the exact same footage that we just watched, but he's saying the ICE agent that had the weapon that he took from him is Pretti, Alex Pretti. He's saying that he's the one that pulled it. So Buzz Patterson over here is saying he clearly pulled his weapon. You mean the ICE agent clearly pulled his weapon from him? Like, is that what you're saying? And then you've got this still frame. All right, so this still frame is so this image is circulating a lot right now, and this image they clearly used AI to clean up this image. So what AI is gonna do is it's going to use algorithms to it's like upscaling in like, you guys that are familiar from like the DVD Blu-ray era, when it went from 720p up to 1080p, that like Blu-rays were 1080p. Then they came out with like 4K discs. But upscaling means you're essentially putting more information into the frames that weren't previously there. And what they do is like a computer algorithm, it takes the surrounding information and it puts in what it thinks is supposed to be there. So you'll end up with a much clearer image, but it might not be an accurate image. Like in this image here, and I wish I could make this bigger. I don't know how to. Can I make it bigger? I can't. Edit image. Oh no, I can't do that. Okay, we'll go back to it. So in his right hand here, he's clearly got something in his right hand, and a lot of people are saying that's his spare magazine. Oh, he reached for his gun, case closed. But remember when I first started off and he was recording the ICE agents with his phone in his right hand? I think that's his phone. It doesn't look like a phone, but it also doesn't look like a magazine. I think what this is they used AI to clean up this image, and AI turned whatever was in his hand into what it thought it looked like. And we're getting a misrepresentation of what's in his hand, which I think is his phone, personally, because this is a cleaned up image. But we'll keep going here. Scarlett, my dog's rolling around on the ground behind me. All right, let's keep going here. So yeah, so Liz Wheeler says he reached for his holster. So like first, remember everybody's saying, oh, he pulled his gun out. That's why they shot him. That's what everybody's saying at first. But now after he was disarmed and everybody learned that he was disarmed by the ICE agent, now she's saying, oh, he reached for his holster. Well, if you're on the ground getting pummeled by a bunch of dudes and you feel somebody reach, and if you guys have ever carried a firearm, I'm sure a lot of you guys haven't. I mean, you're going to know when somebody pulls your firearm out of your holster. By instinct, you're going to like, whoa, shit, somebody took my gun. And you're going to put your hand there, like that's just instinct. And everything's happening so fast here. Just because he reached for his holster because he felt somebody pull his gun out doesn't mean he was like going to draw down on somebody. Probably, I mean, if it was me, I'd
probably instinctively reach for my holster to see if my gun's still there. Not necessarily to draw it, but just like, oh shit, I think somebody stole my gun. They might shoot me with it type thing. Right. And yes, that is just me speculating. Maybe he was trying to draw his firearm and shoot all the officers. I don't think so though. But let's watch this footage. I think it's the same footage. That's so much. Yeah, we've already watched this. So I don't want to beat a dead horse here. And then here's Vince Langman, another cat turd type. He says, legacy media will never show you the video of Alex Pretti reaching for his loaded handgun before an ICE agent shot him in self-defense. You mean reaching for his holster that was empty because the ICE agent had already removed his handgun? Is that what you mean? Okay, so this is from Right Angle News Network. Says breaking stabilized video of the shooting of Alex Pretti appears to confirm that while CBP may have disarmed him, not may have, they did, he still reaches for his holster area and pulls out what appears to be a secondary magazine he had brought with him. So they're referring to this photo here. So they're referring to what's in his right hand. So remember, before this conflict started, before this whole thing played out, which was only a matter of what, 30 seconds, he had his phone in his right hand already. This is his right hand. Did he just not drop his phone during this whole altercation? And if your main objective is to be recording everything that ICE does, wouldn't you be extra careful to hold on to your phone and not drop it on the ground? I think this is just his phone in his right hand. It was already in his right hand. This is what they're referring to, something in his right hand, which already had his phone in it. So I'm not sure, but that's what people are speculating now. Oh, he reached for his holster and he pulled something out, or he already had his phone in his hand. I think we'll see if that's determined later. And then this guy, American Papa Bear, says, does this look like a phone to you or a firearm? It doesn't look like either to me. It looks like an edited AI image that has created what it thinks it should look like was in his hand, because it was super grainy footage and it was all pixelated. So AI cleaned it up the best it could and it turned it into this jumbled thing that looks, I mean, if anything, it looks like a small canteen of water, if you ask me. But so yeah, now people are saying that, oh, he pulled out his magazine. Like, okay, it feels like you're reaching here. All right. So the whole like point of me breaking this down, and obviously I have my opinions on it, but I want to know the truth on this. I'm not going to say like I shot an innocent man. If he had pulled out the firearm and got lit up, I'd have been like, yeah, you shouldn't have drawn your weapon. Like, that was just a bad move. You know, unfortunate, but yeah, you shouldn't have drawn your weapon. But he didn't draw his weapon. And at first I did think he drew his weapon. And, you know, like very little sympathy if that's the case. I don't want to see anybody get shot, but even if I disagree with your politics, I still don't want to see you get shot. Crazy, right? Like, I don't want people that I disagree with to get shot. Like, I don't understand why that's such like a hard stance to take. But so if he pulled his gun, I want to know that. If he didn't pull his gun, I want to know that. I want to know what happened. I want to know the details of what happened. So then we can try to make a rational conclusion of, was this a good shoot? Was this a bad shoot? And then we can discuss, like, should ICE have been there in the first place? What role did the agitators and leftists play in getting this man killed? Like, to me, there's a lot of blame on both sides here from what I'm getting. And that's what's funny, is that's the controversial stance to take, is to say like, yeah, ICE, you're being a bit heavy-handed, and leftists, you're being a bit retarded. And because of both of these things, the heavy-handedness from ICE and the retardation of the left, this man is now dead. That seems to be the case here. Heavy-handed ICE, retarded left, dead person. Like that's the conclusion that I'm sort of drawing here. But everybody wants to be like, I'm pro-ICE, they could do nothing wrong. I'm pro-left, ICE is a bunch of Nazis. And it's like either of those two things. You have to be on one of those two teams. And this guy here, D.
Alec Zek, who this video popped up on my feed and I watched. And I was like, oh, we follow each other. So this guy put it into perspective really well. This is like a 2.5 minute clip. I want you guys to watch this and see what you think.
I think we fail to consider how wild it is that over the past few years, there have been multiple examples of human beings being wrongfully killed, and then it's shared all over social media. And I said this with the Renee Good situation, and it's even more relevant now. It is wild that multiple people can watch the exact same videos from the exact same angles and come away with completely opposite interpretations based almost entirely on whether they're on political team red or political team blue. Nothing to do with principles, nothing to do with right or wrong, just pure political tribalism. And then, depending on the political leanings of the human being who was killed, other human beings either cheer for it and justify it or mourn it and protest it. And then, based on the political beliefs, people immediately run to social media to assert that their assessment of the videos are the only correct ones. No room for nuance, no room for discussion, nothing. That should disturb you, but it probably doesn't because it's been normalized at this point. And I just want to point something out. Irrespective of which political side you're on, more division leads to more civil unrest. More civil unrest leads to more justification for increased government policies, intervention, and control.
And to me, that seems like what all of this is about. And I'll go back to what's the most effective way to get illegal immigrants out of the country? Is it deploying ICE to heavily leftist cities where you know it's going to create a shitstorm and maybe deport 1 or 2 people? Or is it to be more clandestine about it and go after the sanctuary states, sanctuary cities, and removing the social safety net for illegal immigrants? To me, that seems like a more effective approach. But if your approach is actually to create chaos and division in society, well, deploying ICE to cities that are heavily leftist and you know there's going to be a shitstorm, that would be a good idea. If you're trying to sow division and create chaos, you have to wonder.
And that power can be used by either side, regardless of who's in office. The tyranny you cheer for now because it's coming from your side will be used against you by the other side in the future. You can apply that to any point in history over the last few years, whether it's COVID or this situation. And lastly, here's something else I've been thinking about quite a bit. I don't think we're meant to constantly know every detail or be repeatedly exposed to traumatic imagery of things that aren't actually happening in our immediate surroundings. I don't think we were designed to absorb nonstop trauma from across the world through a screen. We take in this imagery, our nervous system responds with fight or flight, and then we're approaching our everyday lives as if what we just saw on our screens is what's going on in our immediate environment. And for most of us, it's not. And I'm not saying what happened in Minnesota didn't happen, but I am suggesting what I've said before. We really need to be mindful of how much what we consume on screens is impacting our beliefs, thoughts, feelings, words, and actions, and how much that is impacting how we approach the physical world around us and the impact we have on the physical world around us.
So, Danger, you ask, who's going to remove the social safety nets from sanctuary cities? Well, I mean, even though I'm a libertarian and I don't like using the power of the state to do things, state meaning the government, the federal government in this case, legally. So what are like the 3 biggest things that incentivize illegal immigrants to come here and stay here? Free healthcare, the ability to get employed, and obviously welfare programs that are available to them, and being able to get a driver's license. So if you go after those 3 things through the legal process, go after employers that are employing illegal immigrants and say, hey, if we find that you're employing illegal immigrants, you're going to get massive fines. Using the court system to say, hey, you can't give illegal immigrants driver's licenses. If legally go through, and yeah, there's leftist federal judges, go through the process, bring it to the Supreme Court if possible. And then the whole healthcare for illegal immigrant situation. Okay, states that are providing free healthcare to illegal immigrants, we're going to withhold your federal funding. And it seems like that is already taking place, but use every legal avenue you have as the federal government to go after sanctuary state policies, individual policies, using the legal system to help remove that social safety net. That's how you do it. What happens when sanctuary cities say, no, fuck you, we don't want, we do what we want? Well, I mean, then you have an insurrection, but it doesn't mean you just don't do it. It doesn't mean you don't try to use the legal system to do it. I mean, what they're doing now isn't effective. The deploying, again, we already have deported less people than Obama did, and we're deploying ICE agents all over the place. We're wasting resources, if you ask me. I think it'd be much better to use all legal avenues to remove these social safety nets. And if they say, I mean, the federal government could say, okay, you can't collect state taxes from them anymore. I don't know exactly how it would play out, but it doesn't mean you don't try. You don't use the legal avenues that you have available to you just because, oh, they're just going to say we're not going to do it anyway, or oh, there's leftist judges that are going to toss out the case. You don't just throw your hands up and say, oh, only approach we have is to be super heavy-handed with ICE. And again, I don't even necessarily think that's the thing. I think Trump might be being used as a useful idiot by the same people that hate him. And they're actually trying to sow division in society and create chaos by deploying ICE to cities that hate ICE. Michael, the libertarian, at some point we should say, fuck it and balkanize, let the state secede. I agree. But that creates, you need a convention of states to do that, right? Which means you need a 2/3 vote in Congress. So I agree. Like, I don't want to see that happen. And it's funny, you see tons of people like take a red marker to a map and they'll say, they'll like cut out Washington, Oregon, and California, and they'll say problem solved. Like, get rid of Washington, Oregon, and California, which were obviously some of the heaviest leftist states. And often they cut out New York too. And it's like, cool, you guys just cut out all of your West Coast ports, all of your West Coast military, all of the agriculture, which California grows like 30% of the food that's grown in the United States. It's just like, you see dumb stuff like that. I don't want to see California secede from the Union. I don't want to see balkanization, but at a certain point, that does seem to be like what's going to happen next, and almost like the next necessary step. So yeah, I mean, I believe that the only way for that to happen is for states to secede from the Union. I don't think the Union can say you're no longer a part of the United States. If they could, that would be interesting, because then it's like, okay, you want to fund illegal immigrant healthcare? Pay for it yourself. You're not getting any federal funding, because like that's what you're seeing a huge amount of California's federal funding going to, is these illegal immigrant healthcare programs. Michael Libertarian, just wish we'd have 50 states in the country, states in the country sense. It's very Hoppian. Oh, I see what you're saying, like independent countries. Yeah. I mean, and it's basically Europe, right? I don't know, man. I don't know, because then each state can have that. Like, there goes the Second Amendment in some states. Like, there goes the Constitution. Each state's going to come up with their own Constitution, and I see, certain states becoming super authoritarian, and other states, I actually see all states becoming super authoritarian. Like, if we balkanize the United States and each state becomes its own country, Constitution's out the window. It's like First Amendment, Second Amendment, Fourth Amendment. I mean, they don't have to abide by those anymore. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what would happen in that case. So, all right. So that's the situation. That's what happened in Minnesota. I do want to continue talking about ICE a little bit. Each state already have their own constitution, right? But the only things that states can put in their constitution is things that aren't explicitly stated in the United States Constitution. So if the states wanted to put in their constitution that you do not have the right to carry a firearm or own a firearm, they can't do that, because that's explicitly stated in the United States Constitution. Same thing with speech, same thing with, Fourth Amendment, searches and seizures and all that stuff. If it's explicitly stated in the United States Constitution, the state laws can't countercede that. Is that a word? I see your concern. but I'm just at the point where it's like radical decentralization. No, I'm with you, dude. Like, I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you, bro. All right, let's keep going because I do want to continue talking about ICE and show that it's like the right shouldn't just be like, yeah, ICE. Like, when did we become fans of the feds again? Like, they're fucking feds, you guys. Like, remember what the FBI did to J6ers? Like, I know ICE isn't the FBI, but they're still fucking feds. Remember what the CIA does? Like, when did we become a fan of the feds again? And like, everything that we're doing is Bush era Patriot Act bullshit, where we're talking about, yay, surveillance state, yay, false imprisonment without charges, like that kind of shit. And here's like a perfect example of that. And I don't care who this ICE agent's talking to right now. I don't care if she's like a super blue-haired, pro-choice, freaking trans your kids leftist. I don't care if that's what her stances are. Listen to what the guy says to her.
It's not illegal to record.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah. Why are you taking my information down?
Because we have a nice little database.
Oh, good.
Oh, you're taking her information down because you have a nice little database. What is that database, Mr. ICE officer?
Good.
And now you're considered a domestic terrorist. So.
Oh, and now you're considered a domestic terrorist. Remember what the Patriot Act states? If you're a terrorist, they can lock you up without charges indefinitely. You guys see what I'm getting at here? These are feds. These are fucking feds. And you guys are, so many people on the right are just like, yeah, ICE, go ICE, 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 baby. This guy's talking about labeling someone that's recording him with a camera as a domestic terrorist. And then you couple that with the Patriot Act. If he's right, if they do have a list of people that they could just label terrorists, they can, by law, go to her house, arrest her, and lock her up because she is now a domestic terrorist. Are you guys seeing the road that we're going down here? It's a very slippery slope, and I'm not liking it.
We're videotaping you? Are you crazy?
Now, to be fair, the ICE agent's probably just talking shit. Like, he's probably not going to put her on any sort of list, but it's frustrating. All right, let's keep going because, okay, so there is a bunch. So okay, we talked about ICE. Let's talk about the idiot leftists and then the super radical leftists that are in office, because it seems that they are using Signal, the app that you use to message each other that's like encrypted messaging. Well, they're using Signal to identify license plates. Actually, I wanted to start. Oh, I meant to start with the James O'Keefe one. Okay, so they are they're using Signal to like create lists of people that they expect to be working with ICE, or they suspect them of like being on the right and being like right-wing reporters, you know, like the Nick Sorter type and the whatever. You guys know what type of right-wing supporter, and the Andy knows that they're trying to hunt them down essentially. So let's listen to this James O'Keefe video.
This is James O'Keefe in downtown Minneapolis. We have a team of undercover reporters still inside the mob. I was at the scene of the shooting covering it this morning, and basically we barely got out of there alive. There were a few hundred that surrounded us, started throwing ice bottles at us. A few hit us, hit our vehicle. They were starting to rip off my bulletproof vest. So we got out of there. We were followed, we were tailed, and here we are right now. We just got this message, and it says, we know that you're in Minneapolis. You're with O'Keefe and his crew of Nazis. You're in a white Ford license plate. They actually wrote the license plate down from Florida. You have 1 hour to leave or you're dead. You have 1 hour to leave or you're dead. We are going to produce our footage, gathering everything we've got from this weekend. We're going to put our report together along with the hidden camera footage that we have. We still have undercover people in the field. Please pray for my team's safety. This is worse than anything I could have possibly imagined. I have security with me, former Marine, and he said that it was worse than overseas, and it was certainly anything worse than I've seen the cartel at the border. We're going to contact law enforcement, DHS, and the FBI, and we're going to try to get out of here safely so we can bring the news to you. Stay tuned for our report coming Tuesday.
So I am not defending leftists in any way, shape, or form right now. They are radical. They are violent. They are getting organized and they do want to hurt people, it seems. Now, what do we do about it? Do we deploy more ICE agents that would inevitably lead to more scenes like the ones we saw yesterday? Or there is a thing called a tactical retreat. And I'm not saying run away, but I don't think this ICE deployment is working. And when I say working, meaning the benefits don't outweigh the cost. The cost financially and what it's doing to society, and the benefits are how many people are you going to actually deport? You deploy how many ICE agents, as many ICE agents as you want to Minnesota. How many people are you going to actually deport? Is it worth it? Or do you want to go back to the drawing board and come up with a more clandestine approach to actually deport illegal immigrant violent criminals, and then go double down on how hard you're going after the Minnesota government and get people to self-deport, take funding away? Is there a better solution? There might be. I'm not saying there is, but there might be, because I see just if these leftists are getting violent, they're hunting people down, we're going to deploy more ICE agents. We're going to deploy the National Guard now. I don't see that improving things. That's just, you're going to crush the opposition with force. And I know a lot of people would like to see that, and part of me would too. But I don't think that's going to make things better in the United States, or in Minnesota more specifically. I don't know. Michael the Libertarian, you want to freaking DM that to me? Yeah, Dave Smith got like roasted for that post that he put out. But I said it to you, Danger. I said it to you a couple nights ago, and you're like, he's fucking wrong. So that's funny. Yeah, Michael the Libertarian and Danger, you guys would not agree. Danger's on YouTube though, and Michael, you're on X, so you guys can't see each other's comments, I don't think. But Dave Smith got roasted by like the hardcore right-wing MAGA faction for what he said about that. I don't have it pulled up here, but all right, let's keep going. So this is footage from what reporter is this? This is from Haley West. She's like an independent reporter, but apparently they were getting followed. They're getting followed by these people. So let's keep going here.
We aren't ICE. We are not ICE. We're not ICE. We're not ICE.
I'm showing my face. I'm not.
Of course, they're driving a Subaru Forester because, of course.
We're not ICE. Yeah, they've been following us for over an hour. We're not ICE. We're just letting them know, and they.
Not in an ICE vehicle, right?
No. Right.
Right. Get in your truck and get the fuck out. Why? Because you need to go. Confirmed ICE. Get the fuck out.
This dude, I just want to slap the shit out of him. Hypothetically speaking, like, who is built like this and acts that tough? Like really? It's only because you are surrounded with your mob buddies that you think that you are intimidating in any way.
Confirmed ICE through who? We're American citizens. We're not ICE.
These are the people that you're abducting. Get out. Please go.
Because they've been following us for over an hour.
Why are you guys here? Why are you guys here? Where do you live? Where are you from?
The protest is public property. What are you talking about? Did you come in that car right there?
Yeah, this truck. And they're saying we're popping up in an ICE database.
Well, then you're in it. We're not.
What's the database?
Get the fuck out of here, though. Do we look like ICE? No.
No ICE. Nothing on me. Prove it.
We're not ICE.
I don't have no weapons. Let me see your IDs of where you live.
No, they've been following us. That's why we got out and confronted them.
Great.
You think that's okay?
Yeah. You're welcome.
100%.
Okay. I'm curious
you
about
our neighborhood. Yes. 100%.
Yes.
I'm curious, I guess, how you get into an ICE.
This shit is wild. These people are insane, but they're clearly using that signal chat to organize and identify cars using their license plate number and saying, I don't know if they're calling everybody ICE, but it's probably a signal chat saying like, no, these people are on the right and we want them out of here. I mean, they probably should just fucking get out of there for their own safety at this point. Let's keep going here. This came out today. Apparently, ICE protesters started physically attacking ICE officers today.
Get back! Get back! Get back! Get back! What the fuck is wrong with your asshole? You motherfuckers! You motherfuckers!
Now, what's interesting about this is like this aspect of it is completely organic. Not saying that there aren't like psyops going on to provoke violent behavior like this, but I mean, it's like 0 degrees outside where they're at right now. These people are dedicated. These are like true believer people. This isn't like the astroturfing BLM George Soros funded, 2020 shit, even though there was plenty of true believers in those. But like these people are dedicated. This is like 0 degrees outside and they're just going full bore. So it looks like this is from 0 Hour. I don't agree with this person on a lot of stuff, but 0 Hour says Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan is one of the admins of Signal Chat. This means that the state of Minnesota is behind the protests. It's not organic. It's an insurrection at the very top. It doesn't mean it's not organic. Like the Signal Chat thing, it looks like she has a big part in the Signal Chat. I mean, it is organic. These people are true believers, but they got somebody on the inside is what it is. So this is from Cam Higbee, another person that I greatly disagree with all the time. I hosted a debate between Phil Turney, survivor of the USS Liberty, and Cam Higbee back in the day. And it did not go well for Phil because he came very unprepared, and Cam Higbee used very dishonest debate tactics. But he's doing good reporting out there right now. And I don't hate the guy. I just disagree with him greatly on Israel. But he actually seems like a fairly good dude, even though I think he might be like, possibly Mossad. But I'm just kidding about that, kind of. So he says, here is the entire training manual for domestic terrorist patrols chasing ICE agents in Minneapolis. Keep in mind, this is a watered down OPSEC version. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so it's got a table of contents. Stationary patrol. Yeah, this is incredible here. I haven't read through this whole thing yet. So, introduction. Let's see. Patrolling and commuting. Mobile patrol. Stationary patrol. What to bring. Essentials. A fully charged phone and a car charger. An external battery pack, try to keep a full tank of gas, a whistle, so you guys hear all the whistles, water, extra water as in bike style bottles for chemical irritants, snacks, extra credit, extra whistles, a megaphone, how to identify ICE flyers, protest signs and banners, binoculars, leaf blower. Oh, that's for when they use like tear gas. They use leaf blowers, gas masks, extra credit, ready for whatever, what to bring, community care kit, throwaway jacket in case of tear gas, warm clothing, gloves, hats, hand warmers, face masks, bandanas, face coverings, sunglasses or goggles, water, a lot of it, cheap towels, phone chargers and power banks, wired earbuds, extra umbrellas, disposable PPE, basic first aid supplies, pepper spray, PPE, and treatment supplies, foot patrol. It's a whole instruction manual for these protesters. Okay. Chat information. Each RR chat is titled different, will operate differently, and may have different community agreements. Be respectful of the rules. People have various roles. Okay. I'll read through this whole thing later. Risk levels and considerations. Let's see what the red high risk considerations are. Confronting ICE agents, responding to an active raid, ICE tracking ICE, okay. Chemical irritant incidents, night and evening operations, patrols. Man, these folks are crazy. Losing contact with partner and phone, exposing name and address via plate scanners. Local police department arrives to support ICE. ICE pointing firearms at unarmed civilians. Okay. And they got whistles. Identifying abductors' vehicles. Okay, so that's like ICE agents' cars. ICE encounters. F salute. What is that? Community useful. I don't know what that means. Documenting of abduction, immoral, fucked up, and or threatening actions. It's a whole instruction manual. Communicating with dispatchers. Be sure to add emoji and join call in your RR group before you head out. Verbally dictate plates to be checked at the dispatchers. ICE tactics / police. Abductor intimidation of responders. Okay. That's a whole freaking instruction manual. Incredible. ICE authority, county jail contracts, chemical first aid, what to do if detained as a responder, how the RR groups connect, resources, additional information. Yeah, so they got a whole freaking instruction manual here. Interesting. All right. All right. Well, you know, I think that's all I got for tonight. I was going to sort of like migrate that into the surveillance state aspect of all of this stuff that's building, because there is a tie-in. There is a tie-in here, and it involves Palantir, ICE, how they use Palantir software to identify how ICE uses Palantir software to identify targets. But I think I'll save that for another episode. Yeah, I know I haven't been streaming a lot lately, guys, and I apologize. But again, it's just there's so much shit going on, and a lot of times what'll happen too is like throughout the week I'll be like, oh, I want to talk about that. No, I want to talk about that. And then the end of the week gets there and there's like 7 things, and I don't really know what direction to take the show. And I've also been like second guessing myself a lot of where I stand on certain issues. And my friend Adrian, Impure Hunter, you probably know Adrian Malagon. He's a buddy of mine. Talked to him a lot about this today. And yeah, I think this does come down to like imposter syndrome shit, where it's like I don't feel qualified to be talking about a lot of this stuff. And he's like, dude, nobody's qualified to be talking about this stuff. And if anything, saying that you don't know what's going on and you're willing to question your own stances on things makes you more qualified to talk about it, because you're not trying to push some sort of objective. And I'm not. I am trying to convince you guys of my personal stances on this stuff, but I do also want to hear your feedback and tell me where I'm wrong. And I know, Danger, I push back a lot of times, like you disagree with me a lot, but I appreciate every time you push back on any of my arguments. I appreciate any time any of you guys push back on my arguments, because there are going to be times where it's like, yeah, you know, I missed that one, or yeah, I didn't look at it from that perspective, and I'll adjust my perspective on things. So I do need to do this more. But again, it's just super hard with how much I work and how like running's my thing, you guys. I'm a runner and I love running, and like I'm finally coming off my injury, and like I want to sign up for more races and shit. So that's my priority, just paying the bills, my dog, and running. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. But I think that's all I got for tonight. I will be having my friend Callie, that Valley girl, if you guys know her, she took a big break from Twitter, but she's back now. She's helped co-host a few episodes with, she was on one where I had Clint Russell, and hopefully she'll be joining me on a couple of episodes. Adrian is going to come on. I'm going to just chat with him. Actually, Adrian and I are going to have a conversation about Christianity. So that should be an interesting talk. We're going to be I got a lot of stuff I want to talk about in that regard. So I do have some cool stuff coming up. I don't know how consistent I'm going to be. I'm going to try to be more consistent, but it's tough. I'd probably be more consistent if I was like getting paid for this, if I was making any money off of this. But at the same time, if I was making any money off of this, it might like water down my material. It's like, oh, I got to do an episode, but I have nothing to talk about. So I'm just going to put some bullshit out, you know, like a lot of these influencers do. And I don't want to be like that. So it's almost a blessing that I'm not getting paid for this. Adrian, what up, man? Yeah. We got to have a conversation soon. Michael Libertarian, Valley's awesome. Yeah, she is. She's just like a good person. She's a dope chick, and she's got good perspective on stuff. And she also feels like politically homeless. Adrian, all I know is that I know nothing. Exactly. Jay, aka Jaded Bull, talk about Palantir. I want to hear this. I've done whole episodes on Palantir, man. I think Palantir is one of the most dangerous things going on in society right now. But maybe I will do. Okay, you guys let me know in the chat. Do you guys want me to do like an all Palantir episode? Jay, aka Jaded Bull, go to my YouTube and watch my The All Seeing Eye episode. I did a really deep dive into Palantir probably like a year ago. And you watch my TikTok ban videos as well. Those ones I dive pretty deep into the Palantir stuff. Those are interesting episodes. Danger, we all learn from each other. Yes, we do, sir. Indeed. Okay, you guys want me to do a Palantir episode? All right. Okay, that's the next episode I'll do. It's going to be a Palantir and surveillance state episode. I've actually been wanting to do one of those. I've been working on a USS Liberty special for like a year, and I just can't figure out how to put all this stuff together. I have all these clips, and man, I've gone so far down that rabbit hole, and I've just like never really talked about it. I've interviewed Phil Turney. I hosted the debate between Phil and Cam Higbee, but I've never done just like a deep dive into what happened with the USS Liberty, and I need to do that. But the next one will be a Palantir episode. Okay. Palantir and surveillance state. Because that's what the right is cheering for right now. It's like Patriot Act 2.0, and I am not liking it at all. Okay, so Pete Grabber, nice to see you, man. Any police department that is real-time crime center is basically a surveillance state. Yeah, what's the program that the LAPD was using? Like they got it straight from Mossad. That wasn't even, I don't even think it was a Palantir program, but the Palantir Gotham program is insane. To sum it up, like really quickly, the Palantir Gotham program, it doesn't collect data. Like Palantir doesn't collect data. That's not what they do. But all of your, like, people know that their data is being collected, but I don't think they're aware of the scale at which their data is being collected and aggregated, and all of this different data can be assigned to you. Like we all know, like our purchase history, our web searches, everything that we say on the internet, all the pictures that we upload to the internet, all the videos that we upload to the internet, our Amazon searches. Like I wear this Garmin watch, which tracks your heart rate. I mean, it literally creates a map of every run that I do, all this data. Like we think about that stuff, but then think about like everywhere you drive and every license plate reader that there is, every time you go across a bridge that has a toll, every time you pay a parking meter with your credit card, like cameras everywhere with facial recognition technology, all of this stuff, all of this data can be assigned to like a number, and that a number is associated with your name. And you can plug all of this different data that's available out there, data that we're not even aware of, that we don't even think about. Like, oh yeah, that little piece of information about me is out there. All of this different data can be plugged into these different programs, and it's essentially pre-crime. They can predict what you're about to do. Now, how they aim that program, like right now, we're looking for people that are here illegally, and we want to use this program to find out who's here illegally and who's a threat, who's here illegally and who's actually violent, or we expect to do crimes, and that's how they're going to round them up. But it could be aimed at anybody. It could be aimed, and I have a feeling that if it was aimed at leftists, like it was during the Columbia University protests, because it was, the right would cheer for it if it was aimed at leftists. But what happens when it's aimed at January 6ers? What's happened when Democrats are back in charge, and now all of this All of the same people are still in place. It doesn't matter if Democrats are in charge or Republicans in charge. The CIA, the deep state, Mossad, FBI, the NSA, all of these people pulling the strings behind the scenes, they're all still in place. They're not getting mass replaced every time there's a new administration. It's all the same people, and they fucking hate you, no matter what political side that you're on. And I truly believe that a lot of these people are bad actors that want to sow chaos within our society to distract us from all the bullshit that they're doing. They want us at each other's throats. Like, people get mad when I say this, but leftists are not my enemy. Now, I am pretty jaded from the people that wanted to destroy my life because I refused to take an experimental injection. And I'm not going to say I'm over it, but like Adrian, one of the principles of, Jesus's teachings is like, I mean, I'm paraphrasing here, but basically like give people, if they weren't doing it out of malice and they're doing it out of ignorance, talk to them and, not give them a second chance, but still try to get through to people. People change. And anyway, the point is, leftists are not my enemy. Even the ones that wanted to destroy my life because I refused to take a shot. The people that I disagree with on every single political issue that make the same amount of money as me, I have way more in common with than somebody that is super rich or in the government that has the same exact politics as me. I have way more in common with my fucking leftist neighbor that loves cats than I do with, Elon Musk. I have nothing in common with Elon Musk. Do we agree on some things? Yeah, but I can't even fathom the amount of money and power that guy has. So, yeah, I think you guys get what I'm saying. So I'll do a whole episode on Palantir and how dangerous the growing surveillance state is. That'll be the next thing that I do. I'll start working on it tomorrow. So, all right, guys, appreciate all you guys for being here. Adrian, give the people the benefit of the doubt unless they're leftists. Jesus, probably. Oh, that's fucking gold. I appreciate it, man. Jay, I did not get vaccinated. Good. Nobody got vaccinated. They just took a shot because it wasn't a vaccine. But anyway, is that bad that I trust Carp? Who's Carp? Oh, Alex Carp? Fuck. Yeah, bro. That dude is bad news, man. That dude's a fucking psychopath. Yeah, Alex Carp is a fucking I do not trust that guy at all. Fuck, there's some shit that I can't say either. There's some shit that I can't say for employment reasons. Pete Grabber, any police department that has real-time crime center are basically a surveillance. I already read that. Yes, they are. All right, guys. I think that's all I got for tonight. So Adrian, Jay, Pete Grabber, Danger, Michael, always good to see you, man. Wally World, I know I saw you in here earlier. Valley Girl, I don't know if you're still watching. Thanks for joining. The Schizoid Man. What else we got? Ras Tratimus. Good to see you, bro. Yeah. And if you guys are still here, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. It helps the channel grow. Yeah. All right. I think that's all I got for tonight. Before we get out of here, we got to tell a joke from the second greatest book ever written, the sequel to The Truth About Chuck Norris. This is Chuck Norris Cannot Be Stopped, courtesy of Danger in the chat here. So you know the rules. I open the book, my eyes go to a joke, and I read it. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's not. But Chuck Norris, joke of the evening. If you play Pink Floyd's The Dark Side of the Moon and watch The Wizard of Oz without sound at the same time, Chuck Norris will beat you senseless for wasting your time. On that note, stay CaliBased.